we're starting. Welcome to Pop-Up Designs and our Populele, which is a laser cut ukulele. We're pretty proud of it. It plays well. It's made out of Italian poplar, and what's as astounding is you can build it within 1 or 2 hours of time to fully make it. It takes about 2 weeks to settle before the strings stay in tune, but it's an incredible little kit and fun to build, and we hope you'll enjoy it. We're going to show you here today the first in the series of videos of how to make a populele, and we're going to start off with the neck assembly. You need 7 large pieces of nets. There's 2 here and there's another 5 over here. You'll need to just cut this all off, so you can cut this out and remove a pin at the end just there. There's a piece of waste wood at the bottom which you don't need, and that's just for keeping it safe in packaging. And then you need 7 other parts to make the neck. Here they are. These are 2 pieces in birch, which is a slightly stronger wood and gives a bit more stability to the neck. Take them all out and put them in number order, stacking them with the writing up. So you go number 1, 2, and I think you'll get the things. There's longer pieces here which give it a bit more strength. 1, 2, 4, 5. Another piece of birch, 6 and 7. And this is our neck, and to hold it together there's some various pins. You'll find those over in the pegs and bits bit. There's one of these neck pins from just here. And I'd start by putting A1 down through this hole to start to line them all up, which holds them together. Go straight down all through all 7 layers. I then use from this side another pin A2 to go back the other way, push that one through. It's quite a reasonable fit to get those locking into place. Hold it at the far end with one of the little pins, the neck pins in birch, and this goes through from this side. You push him through right the way through to hold him all together. And there's one last pin, which is an A4, which goes here and locks it in just at that end just there. And a final neck piece labelled B1, and it goes into this joint here. This one is quite a tight fit, so you push them in and push him all the way down, push him right to the end so he's flat and level just there, and that is the start of the neck construction. I've got the populele blues. Welcome to stage 2 of making your populele. We're going to have a go now at 2 stages which are in the instructions, as putting on the head, which is instructions number C, and putting on the head veneers, which are here, and doing a bit of the most crucial part, which is putting on the frets. So first of all, you'll need a part from the pegs and bits, which is this little piece here, which is C1 and C2, and this pushes onto the end here, locates. I put the writing on the inside and the 2 pointy bits point upwards, and this just pushes onto the end here. Again, a tight fit and designed to hold all this together. It uses a patented square peg into a round hole system that we use here in Pop-Up Designs, and that's the first bit. And secondly, we'll go on to these 2 veneers, which are the colour. We've got some blue today, first time we're using blue, quite like it to be honest. And there's a front and a head. The back of one's labelled. I would use a bit of glue to lock this in, but you do want to make sure the whole of these lines are completely square and it's not sort of distorted as you do so. But I would put a bit of glue on all the way down the top here to hold this into place. It gives a little bit more stability later on for the tuning pegs. And this top one has 3 holes, and you can see the top hole pushes in and then locates on the 2 smaller holes to hold that into place. The super glue goes very well and is great for gluing your skin and was invented for this reason, so try not to get it on your skin. It is a bit of a bad thing to do. Round the back then for the rear veneer, and I'm again putting some glue on up these just to hold this into place, and then take the head veneer that's at the back. I put the writing upside down and then push this one into place, and this gives it some strength and stability to the head. So that is most of the head done for now. There are 2 spacers waiting for the tuning pegs, which we'll do later, but we're going to have a go at the most important part, which is the fretting. And if you've got a bit of scrap wood, you can do it on the edge of a table, of course, and I'm going to just put my neck against this piece of wood, which seems to hold it quite nicely into place, and taking the frets. The frets are labelled from 15 to 1, and I would start probably with number 12 around the middle just to hold it square there, and I turn it upside down. Number 12 is at this junction here and just pushes it. Again, it's made in birch to give it a little bit more strength, and you just push those into place. And you might find that's quite a tight fit, and it needs to be held exactly at the angle, and a little tap with a hammer just can hold that into place. But you don't need to. If you're strong enough, you can just push it down with your fingers, and you know, maybe do 10 down to 10 here. Just put them in. And there's me pushing hard, trying to check that they are level with the angle just there, and it's like a scalloped keyboard. Most traditional Populeles have metal frets, so I'm doing 3 up this end, turning them upside down and pushing them in, and it's just that little angle which will give the difference in the note and the semitone to play it later on. And then I'd start from 1 and go the other way. Now, I have glued them sometimes, but I prefer not to glue until I've strung it up now, if I use glue at all, just because it holds there. So, as you can see, that's coming along, and this is it completely finished. Now cut. So now we've got all the frets into place. You want to look down this direction and just check to see which ones are not quite in place. There's several little things you can do. You want to make a very sharp little angle so you can push them down firmly. If you've damaged a little peg by not hitting it quite square, sometimes they sit a little bit proud, particularly this fret number 13, 14 and 15 is quite narrow to fit in, and so you can just hold it in, and if you wish to use a bit of glue, it's up to you, but you can't repair it. You need to make sure it's fitted in flush, and just to hold them down might be quite a wise idea. So this one I am sticking down, nearly glued my fingers as well, which I told you not to do earlier. It is designed for, I think, for World War II. It was a method of gluing things together for medical people. So this one as well, I think, is a little bit high, so I want my frets to very clearly have the little angles all the way up, and it is the most crucial part of the operation to get your Populele built. And there we are, we're done. So this is what we're looking for. You can look down this side as well for gaps, and that is your neck assembly complete. Welcome to the third stage of making your Populele by Pop-Up Designs, and we're going to have a go at building the body and the bridge. So you'll need several parts for this. The instructions start after the fretting at G, so you need to find the big piece with G on the bottom just here. This is going to eventually fit onto this part just here, which is going to give the strength to the body. And we're just going to start a bit of preparation with this by getting these two pieces, which say G1 and G2 on it, and pushing these into this hole just here, and this will make a stronger side, which is 6mm. So push those in, and this is going to go onto here eventually with the belly on the top. So get that sort of ready. You'll see that the next G3 and G4 is going to go this side. You can put them in for now, but you can probably have to take them out. So I'd start like this. But first of all, we need the belly sorted, and onto here is going to be the bridge. The bridge has three main parts, which are all labelled H1, 2 and 3. So here they are. Here's H1 and H2 is actually the holes. And you need these two pieces as well. You've got the mid part and the bottom part, and I would turn them over so you don't see the writing. So it's going to start with this one, then it's going to be this one, and then it's going to be this one on top, and it goes this way round and will join up where it says H1 and H2 as well just here. There are two saddles, and this is what holds the string, and one of the saddles is just here in the parts and bits, and this will fit into this slot just here. Now I would go for glue on this one, but be very sure you've got it lined up correct first before you glue those bits. The second saddle is what the strings rest on, and you can see these grooves here in acrylic, and that bit must not be glued in. So if you're going to put that in, don't put that in till right later. But you need this one, which is going to hold the strings, goes into here with these two nuts and bolts. It doesn't need glue, but you can use it, and we think it's slightly stronger if you do. So I'd get yourself ready first of all if you're going to put the nuts and bolts on. So there's one nut with a washer, there's a second one with one washer. So that's going to go underneath. You'll need a wooden spanner, which surprisingly works with one of this Allen key, 3mm Allen key. And I'm going to glue mine together because I think it helps and gives a better tone to the instrument. So first of all, a little bit of glue on this layer. And on goes the middle layer. I'm going to, and then quickly this one, so you need to be fairly quick here to get this to line up and go through. Not quick enough. So this is the bridge. The strings will go through this gap round here, and this piece in as well. Now that's going to go onto my belly, so I'm putting this just here. Up to you whether glue this in. Again, I would glue it. I think it transfers the sound a bit better. And the way a ukulele works is the strings vibrate, hits the saddle and the bridge, and it causes the whole of this belly to go up and down and vibrate. So this is going to go on, and on the underside here you put on the other washer and your nylocked nut, and then your two nuts to hold it into place. So that's all lined up correctly. I'm going to put in my saddle as well, which is going to hold the strings. So this goes onto this side, and the strings will go through there and be wrapped around there. So mine is all in place. I'm going to put my wooden spanner on my nut, and I'm going to tighten all this up. And you want to tighten it so that the nylock bit, which is a little bit of blue in there, appears and touches the thread. So it needs quite a bit of tension. It will dig in a bit just on this side, and do that both sides till the blue is almost level with the top and the washer is digging into the wood, and you'll hear it just joining together and locking in just into the place. So that's your belly done and ready, and there will be another saddle fitting into this slot to hold the strings later on. I'm now going to take this piece and put it into the neck, which slides in into here. There's two little holes saying L1 and I1 and I2, and it just goes into a little groove at the top, and it's going to fit in just there. And then the hard part is to line all this up so it all fits in. So I've got to get the back of the belly into there, and you can see it's popped out this side. So I'm going for this side first and lining up these two in the slots to get that ready. And now I'm going back to this part, trying to get that to line up while thinking about the square bit down the bottom. So this is in place, and this is going up the top, and you can see it's fairly fiddly to get it into place. But once you've got that, and you can start your bending, the most tricky part, I think, is bending these two pieces over and then onto the peg which is labelled J1. And so you want that to slide over and locking down to here into there. And then the outer case here to go down. And you can see that's now coming into position, and you need one of the last peg J1, there it is, a little wedge. I put him in from this angle here and slide him into there to hold it into place. And this is a tight fit, so I am pushing quite firmly now the veneers, the two side pieces down, and then pushing this through to hold him into place. And you should get a tight fit all the way around here, and it should all look quite solid. Unfortunately, of course, we've now got to put this side, so I'm opening this part up a little bit more. I'm going to get this little peg ready for me, and you need to put in first of all this piece, get him into place before adding the outer side piece. And that is, I think, the most tricky part, just getting that in to line up. And as you can see, I'm finding it quite hard, and I'm going to have to pull it out a little bit further. There we go. Once they're in firmly there, you can then find it wraps around much easier around the outside. Just have to make sure they're really in firm. And then we're wrapped around. Oh, quite strenuous, the stress to get it done in time, and round onto there. I felt the pressure. In goes the final wedge into there, pushing down quite firmly. Into place to push him all the way home. That's quite a tight fit. There he goes. That was, and there we go. That locks the body in. There's one last part down here is labelled K1 in the instructions, which just puts in, and I put him in from the bottom upwards, like so, to lock him into place. And we've got the body more or less made. This construction comes from banjos, which is what gives it the strength. From years ago when I used to build some banjos, and that gives it the strength all the way through, and you can see now you've almost got a uncompleted Populele. to this stage, after that last bit, you'll have noticed a bit of stress. You might well to just sit and play, have a bit of a coffee, I think. Welcome back to the final stages of building your Populele. So, what we've got to do now is add a few things. So we're going to finish off by how to put on the back, how to finish off by putting on a few of the finished things, and mainly the tuning pegs over here. So the back's obviously very easy. This just slots on over here and fits on and locks into place, and just pull it up and it locks into there. There are two remaining wedges. Here they are, L1 and L2, and these just hold the back into place, and really the Populele is more or less completed at this point. So that is the back, and the whole thing is up and ready. We started off originally with tuning pegs up here which were from violins, but they are very hard to tune, so we've started to supply now these geared tuning pegs which are easier to use. We are using them so that this part here, the fishtail end, will actually be facing up. So if you put it this side, clearly it's the wrong way. It's got to face up, the fishtail part, and then you line it up there. And you'll need some spacers. The spacers are here, and the spacers have little hearts on them, which you'll probably have to sand down. And one side gets this, which is the strings E and A, and we'll need to just attach this to here, as well as putting it into place just there. It needs some glue and it needs some screws, so I'm just going to show you how to screw this together. So first of all, I've got my scrap piece of wood. You need to just make a little pinhole, I think. We supply in the kit one of these screwdriver pins, so just make a little dent with it once you've worked out which one goes where. So you'll see the pegs on this side are on the down side with the gearing. So this is what's going to go on. The little bag here has the screws in it, so open this up. Take one of the screws with the screwdriver tip, which is fortunately magnetic, and then push it home against the corner of the piece of wood. So I'll show you this on the corner so it lines up, and just push him into position with your pilot hole and screw him in. They just about come through the other side. So I'll just do one side, get this one ready. The little spacer will need to be glued in. So it's firmly held, a bit of glue. You'll see that the screws are just showing through on this side. Try not to get the glue into the barrels. And that one's going to go on that side. I'll show you the position of the other one so you can see. Just goes on this side again with the fishtails of this one. I'm going to go up here, and he's going to line up into those holes just there. This one needs to be a bit shaped, and we'll go into that position just up the top there. But I won't screw that one. We need just at this side here, there's one little piece. You don't have to use it, but we quite like a little bit of decoration. So this one will fit in it. Push fits down into this space. Just push him in and he just pushes down. That could be glued as well if you wished, but doesn't need it. And the final things are to start thinking about how to put in your strings. You'll need to peel off the plastic off this acrylic plastic, so the polythene protective sheets come on. This is called a nut. They used to be traditionally made out of bone, and so you'd shape a bone, and this is how to keep the strings from hitting the back. So this one goes into this slot and just rests the right height to keep the string just there. And you've got the second saddle, which peel off again your polythene. Losing my fingernails there as that one goes in, and this one pushes into this slot and needs to go flush down. So your strings now, just quickly to show you how the strings to string it all up. So you'll take these very good quality strings all the way from Italy, Aquila strings. We think they're the best. They come with 4 colours: white, green, black and red. It tells you on the back which one goes, but this string up the top here starts in its G, C, E and A. So the A string is red, so I'll show you how to put one string in. If you see, so you take the little red string, this one is going to go 1A, which is high string. So you take it up, over, go round the string, this is the thickest string, and go round and then under. There are always lots of ukulele how to put the string on for the there's lots of YouTube clips anyway. And then you can just start turning the tuning peg, which takes a while. And there we go, we're at the key of E. No, A. Now there are some other things we need to do before we finish. I would recommend a little bit of rounding round here with the glass paper. So I would deliberately shape all this area around the back of the neck so it's easier to play, particularly around this back of the veneer just here, and that little heart. I'd start to rub away there, and the edges of this, and the edge up here, just to get that all a bit more smooth. But frankly, I think we can do better than that with a few more strings. So you built your populele. We hope it didn't drive you too crazy. The memories now, they're feeling hazy. We've got, I've forgotten it completely. We've got a hunch. We've got to go for lunch. No, you're proud as punch. Well, serious, it's started to rain now. We want to say thanks very much for building a Populele. We'd welcome your thoughts of how it went. We'd love to see pictures of your instruments, and we'd like you to put them on Facebook and on Instagram for us. Thanks very much for watching our video, and have a lot of fun and get playing on. Seriously raining now, we've got to go. Are we done? On take two.